Hey everyone, and welcome to Off the Table with myself, Stephen Box, and also Jake. How you doing, Jake?
I'm all right, Steve. I'm all right. We've got something a bit different today for everyone, don't we?
Different kind of show.
It is a different kind of show.
You excited?
Steve, as you know, I've wanted a talk show for ages, and with the power of Vanguard Tactics, I've been given one.
We've now got a talk show. Yeah, absolutely. And this is something that obviously we've been talking about a lot. I went live every day for 100 days during the first lockdown. And we just thought that some of the topics that I covered might be quite nice to actually bring back in a bit more of a formal kind of show. And yeah, obviously we've got you as well.
Yes.
To be the mediator.
I am the James Corden of this show. I am ready to fulfill my role with He-Man and Blood Angel Marine in tow.
Blood Angel Steve.
Blood Angel Steve and He-Man Steve.
Yeah. So welcome everybody in the chat. If you are here live, look, we're here to answer your questions, whatever they might be. Pop them in. If you are a YouTube member, we'll instantly read out your question, and obviously everything else super chat based. Great, as we normally do for the stream games. But obviously this just allows us to actually focus on your questions rather than just playing Warhammer. Because obviously on our was Tuesday night streams, the focus tends to be on the game and less on you guys. And this show is for you. So we're going to be talking all things in regards to mindset, motivation, not only for the hobby, but outside of that, off the table, so to speak. And we're going to be discussing all different avenues from how to sort of just be a little bit better in our day-to-day lives, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think this is a good sort of show, and especially with Vanguard Tactics, obviously, as you know, we've always been about sportsmanship and fair play, but it's also about a bit more than that, Steve. Obviously, you know, it's about that mental health, it's about that physical health, and it's also just about things that keep us all going every day, you know?
Absolutely.
We're all human, aren't we, Steve? So, well, some are.
Some people are human.
I'm human. You're like, we're halfway there. It's like Pinocchio.
Like half robot, half human?
Like Terminator.
Yeah.
But not Terminator 3, because that was a terrible film.
No, what was the best? Terminator 2 was the best one.
Terminator 2 is the best one.
Yeah.
Not Terminator 3. Terminator 3 was
because
very
Terminator 2 is when Arnold Schwarzenegger is the good guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the good Terminator. And he's up against that sort of like liquid silver dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, Terminator aside,
we can come back to Terminator.
Arnold, what a legend! One of my absolute idols in life and heroes.
Really?
You wouldn't guess
Never
it.
would have guessed.
You wouldn't guess it, but he actually is. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Someone's put in the chat here. Steve's transhuman. Okay, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've got here Justin, Master of Sports Research here. Really interesting to seeing how you'll view topics. Absolutely. Running or cycling, what sort of cardio do you prefer? Cardio. What's that?
If I had to pick between running or cycling,
Yeah.
I'd probably pick cycling.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because I was a big fan of Lance Armstrong when I was younger.
Okay.
I used to do a lot of sports. I used to play cricket.
Right.
I was a bit of a big deal, but
You are a big deal.
Enough about that.
Yeah.
But obviously we do have a few topics today, obviously, to cover, like you said, but we've also got a few things that obviously we did want to mention, Steve, because yesterday launched something quite special, didn't it?
We did. Yeah, so yesterday we launched, or basically, you can now, if you are thinking about getting into the game of 40k, then we've launched a brand new product completely for beginners. So whether you're getting back into the hobby after a long time, maybe you just like painting and you think actually there's this playing side, like Henry Cavill obviously spoke about to Graham Norton, there is a playing side. And this course is going to be ideal for you if you are a beginner. Or maybe you know somebody that's a beginner and you want to do it with them. Okay. So yeah, it's the 7-day challenge. What we're going to be doing over the course of 7 days is having daily tasks to help you get comfortable playing a game of 40k. It was interesting. I put a poll on my story and I said, who can play a game of 40k to 1,000 points, like a small-sided game, without looking at the rules? 50%.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, we just assume more people know how to play. but the game can be also quite complicated. So this is going to be perfect for that. I'll put a little link in the chat now in case you want to get signed up for this 7-day challenge. But it's going to be awesome. We're going to have loads of pre-recorded content from myself and Liam. So Liam's been a massive help on this, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He was my basic training partner. I put him through basic training, and yeah, we've got all that sort of pre-recorded content. It will be sort of drip-fed in a few batches. And then we've got, and that's Liam Dempsey as well. And then also we've got lots of live content that myself and also Michael. And if you're keen to get involved with some live content, obviously we'll get you involved as well.
If the people want me, Steve.
Absolutely.
You know how I am. Always about the people.
Somebody's put here, will you get Caval onto arm wrestle? I mean, that would be a long stream, I think.
We're not going to call him out on the internet because we don't do that here. But I think maybe we can have a chat with him.
Yeah.
Maybe Tom Holland. He seemed like he was quite game for playing some Warhammers.
What about arm wrestling, though?
He could arm wrestle. He's Spider-Man, Steve.
Okay. You reckon he's got it?
What? Spider-Man?
Versus me?
I think it's a good 50-50. You'll be here a while either way.
Right. Book a 3-hour stream out.
Yeah.
Who fatigues first? That is my favourite form of cardio. It's endurance arm wrestling. That's exactly what I try and go for.
You love an arm wrestle.
Yeah.
You'd think that you have an obsession with it.
I love it.
Surely. Sometimes he says to me, Jake, arm wrestle? And I go, do you know what? I'd rather do anything else.
Yes. I just can't wait to get those arm wrestles down on the table. Arm wrestle now?
Maybe we'll ask Keyman later, see what he says.
Yeah. Anyway, so there is one big thing that is obviously changed. And it is the studio.
You wouldn't be able to tell, which is quite ironic, isn't it? You can't really tell.
No, you can't really tell, but you can tell.
You definitely can.
You can tell. So yeah, we are in a basically brand new studio, and we'll do a full studio tour. But it's been a hell of a couple of weeks, I can tell you that. Me, Michael, Nicole. Everybody's pitched in to get this place looking awesome. We've got a little bit more space, a little bit more room, a little bit more homely as well, which is really, really nice. And it means that we can create some really cool spaces in here as well. So this is the main playing space. So you'll be really familiar with the blue wall for the playing space. We are getting a logo put on the back wall. And then we've got another area where we want to develop into just a pure podcasting space. He's happy. So if you guys like this show, let us know. If you like this kind of format of show, then we are going to get a dedicated room/space with, I'm thinking like sort of black brick wall, sort of worn, weathered look, pink neon sign with our logo of Off the Table, and then some like really cool Chesterfield black leather chairs which are studded. Get like a nice big sort of treasure chest is our table in the middle. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's the vibe I've got. But anyway, yeah. So Tim said, think everyone here tonight is for the studio tour. Yeah.
I would love to do a studio tour in the homage to MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
So just go full MTV Cribs. Do you guys want that? MTV Cribs VT studio tour.
Yeah. So
I think it's a winner personally.
VT Cribs.
VT Cribs?
VT Cribs.
MVT Cribs?
We don't really have the music.
Borderline copyright.
Yeah.
But
VT Cribs, yeah.
VT Cribs. I like it.
Yeah, we'll do a VT Cribs style video. But yeah, we've got like areas for hobby, gaming. It's all here.
It's amazing, and I think it's very much a testament to yourself and all the team here that have managed to put in those hours to make this place look superb.
Yeah, and we are running this at the moment just on myself and Jake. So as the team grows, we'll be able to get people on the cameras and we can get rid of this laptop and just make it a little bit slicker. It's going to be awesome.
We may have some guests.
Yeah.
Some special guests.
We may have some very special guests. Anyway, Andy Downs said 1,000,000% yes. Also, Tim and Andy, thanks so much for becoming members of the channel. Really, really appreciated. And it's becoming members of the channel, super chatting in your questions. It's going to really help us grow to get to where we, really want to be. So, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh.
Not sure quite what I've done there. Anyway, what was I going to say? What's on the first menu of tonight?
Well, Steve, obviously we've got a few things we've got to talk about here tonight. So obviously, as you can see, the 3 M's of tonight's title, Mindset, Models, Motivation. Now, we all know about models, obviously. Obviously, we can go into that one a bit more. But motivation, Steve, I think that one's a really, really relevant topic, especially with everything you've had to do over the last 4 weeks to get this studio ready. What motivates you, Steve? When you get up in the morning as Stephen Box and you smash out the light and you throw the alarm clock across the floor and you open your fridge and there's just lots of protein shakes,
Yeah.
and you shake them up, you drink it, what's going through your head other than just pure testosterone?
Well, that is it. It is that pure testosterone that's going right through my head there. Yeah, interesting. I think
You're thrown by that,
No,
Steve.
I am a little bit thrown.
That's what good interviewers do, Steve. They throw their guests.
Yeah. I do work a lot of hours.
You do?
I do work a lot of hours. I think the most important thing for me is, and I was asked this question recently, it was when I get to the point, where I'm end of life, and I know it's quite deep, but if I was, like 95 years old on my deathbed, as it were, and somebody younger, maybe a grandson or a nephew, whatever it might be, comes in and said, Steve, what is it that, you're really well respected, say, you've done lots in your life. What would be the 3 things that you would tell me to do that are really important? And it took me a while to really think about what those 3 things are. Like, what are those 3 values? And one of them is to be grateful, to always show gratitude. And this is something I practice every single day. I show I practice, gratitude, as it were. And it can be as simple as just sitting down, writing a few things that I'm grateful for. And then at the end of the day, I journal about, roughly how my day went, just to make sure that I can really understand like what I did well, what I need to improve on, when I mess up, just those things that I can then read back over and think, actually, I need to do better. I need to be different. I need to learn from that experience. So that's one of those things. And then one of the others then is honesty. And I think honesty is so important. And then finally, I think the last one is to give more than you expect to receive. So I am one of those people that will put so much into whatever it is I'm doing. So whether it's, my work and my training, relationships, I always want to put more in than I expect to get out. So they're for me like those 3 really core values. But in terms of how that really sort of getting back to your question about motivates me is I think it's that gratitude part. It's the understanding of where I'm currently at the moment and knowing that tomorrow I want to improve. I just want to be better. I don't want to ever repeat the same as that I've just done today. How can I go that one step further? How can I just make those tiny little steps? And it is that process in the journey that's really important. And whether that's at 40K, whether that's in the gym, whether it's at business, working on relationships, and all of those things take so much time and energy to work on. And really it's about balancing those priorities. And sometimes I think we can get lost with being motivated or just busy for the sake of it. But there's a big difference between being busy and being productive.
100%. I 100% agree with that. And also the other thing as well about motivation for a lot of people as well is always to remember is it's having a goal. It's about, so for example, if you work a Monday to Friday job and you get up on Monday morning, what's motivating you to get through that week? It's the weekend. It's little things like that I think can be a bit of a motivation for people, even if you're struggling to find motivation in general or just in life, Yeah,
the goal is, I think it's really hard to just be motivated on a goal. Yeah. And I do really think that, because sometimes it can be really difficult to actually understand how do you actually get there. Yeah. So so let's say you've got a job that, I don't know, you maybe don't enjoy. And, you work, let's just take a typical Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And maybe you don't enjoy that job. But what can you be doing in order to better yourself? So if you understand that you're in a situation which, you might not be preferable, maybe it's not something that you really want to do for the rest of your life, you either have one of 2 options. And the goal could be, to get a job that you love. But that as a goal is really, really hard, right? Because I don't think the goal should be necessarily living for the weekend. I think what the goal should be is living for the weekend so that you understand what you can do at the weekend to get you out of the situation that you're in. Because that is free time, your weekend time, right? That is actually part of the process. So what you do in your weekends will determine your future self. So it's like a lot of the time people will say to me, oh, Steve, how do you, I don't know, go about getting a career in Warhammer, right? I mean, I didn't used to have one. I used to have a career in fitness. And
really?
But the thing is, it's the stuff you do in your spare time.
That's news to me.
That allows you to build on from it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of people aren't willing to go the extra mile. So, you know, it's one of those things where if I want to get, like recently I've been on my whole, getting back into my fitness. I've been posting on the Instagram, Fit for 40K is a bit of a movement. I really want to help inspire people get back to, being in the best physical and mental health sort of shape they possibly can be. But, last night I finished tidying the studio. I think so. Finished work about 6, tidied the studio, got to about 7, and I was like, I really want to do some painting. So I got some terrain to paint. I needed to get that done, and I thought, do you know what? It's getting about 8:30. I want to go home. But I was like, no, I need to, because I know I want to improve my fitness. And it would have been the easy thing for me to do, to just drive home, watch some, TV program, whatever I'm watching at the moment, like some sort of detective program is what I normally...
Or cooking show.
Not a cooking show. We're not going to talk about that, Jake. But, it was the point where I was like, no, Steve, you're going to the gym because I know tomorrow I'll be grateful for it. I mean, I'm really sore today, but I will be better for doing those things when maybe I don't necessarily want to do that. Maybe it is, I think, Wednesday night I was up until like 1:30 doing some playtesting stuff or whatever it might be. So there's always these things that I'm always doing is because I want the result of it, but that the journey is the most important bit. It's the things you do every single day make a difference. So, yeah.
Yeah, like as I said, I've met a lot of people in my time as well who, they just expect everything. They expect to just walk through the door in their job, first day, second day, and they have it all.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really key point to make there, is that if you do want something, you need to work for it.
You absolutely.
For example, everything that's around us at the moment, He-Man, these microphones, the studio, even the little things to the big things, it's all come with a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of hard graft.
Yeah, Liam said here, there's a good quote that goes like, you don't rely on motivation for anything. Okay, it's fleeting and unreliable. Discipline, however, is unyielding.
Yeah.
It absolutely, I was not motivated to go to the gym yesterday.
No.
At 8:30 in the evening, I was knackered and I just couldn't do it. I was not motivated in any way, but I just went because I'm disciplined or I'm committed to the journey. And that's what it's that dedication, which I think really gets you through. But so if you are in a job that you really hate, right? Evenings, weekends, early mornings, whatever it is that you want to do, there are so many free programs out there. There's so many low-cost programs out there that you could do to improve your life, whether it's you want to become an expert in social media. If you were an expert in social media, for example, Nicole, who works with us here, she's absolutely fantastic at, social media production. And it's all the things that she did in her spare time that got her the job working here, working full time in a Warhammer career, because she was really good and really skilled at something, was really passionate about it. So I wouldn't rely on motivation as such. I think it is a key, one of those things is use the motivation in the beginning to set yourself some realistic expectations and goals. And then from that point, sort of reverse engineer the process that you'd think will get you there. Even if it's not the most optimal, stick to it, follow it to the letter and carry it out. Use that motivation in the planning stage and let the discipline take you through.
It's very well said, Steve. Very motivational. That's definitely motivated me to do better. But yeah, obviously, that's a massive topic of motivation. So tell me, guys in the chat, right? what motivates you, even if it's just the littlest thing? What is your reason, like Steve said, to motivate you to get up in the morning sometimes? There's also a few other things, obviously, we've got. We're going to go into the mindset one now. Because that also sort of goes hand in hand with motivation. Because sometimes, again, if we use that motivation, you have to be in the right mindset.
Yeah.
You know? So let's take, I don't know, let's take the gym as an example, because that's something that you're feeling really strongly about at the moment. Obviously, you've got your whole hashtag Fit for 40K. The mindset you're in for that, you have to have a very elite mentality, in my personal opinion, from knowing people like yourself. Obviously, I have a lot of people in my family who are also very much into their fitness. Obviously, my dad, as an example, does all the Ironman competitions. You have to be in a very specific mindset to be able to know that you need to be doing these things.
Yeah. I think it has to be it's more, I suppose, your priority. Yeah. What is the most important thing that you can focus on? And I'll relate this to 40K as well. So there's a really good analogy called win. Just win.
I've tried.
Just win.
It's not that. Just winning doesn't always help.
But winning stands for what's important now.
And what is important now?
And that's exactly it. That is exactly what you need to prioritize, is what's important now. So whether it's something like one of those things that, for example, start of the turn, what's important now? Well, what's important now is how I'm going to score my primary, how I'm going to score my secondary.
Get me in command point.
Whatever it might be. That is the important thing, is what is the mission plan? How are you going to stick to it? You know, we discussed a game that you played at Leicester, right? You did not, you had a game plan, and then you just decided to play your opponent's game plan instead. You did not focus on win. What's important now?
No, I did not focus on win, sadly.
No, you focused on your opponent's game plan, which is exactly what they want you to do. Whereas if you'd have stuck to your own game plan, you'd have had a better outcome.
Yeah, 100%.
So it comes back to priorities, right? So a priority of mine every day is when I wake up in the morning, I get my diary out and I write down my 3 things. You know, I do my gratitude. I then write down what are those key things for me that day that I need to achieve. And then what will make my day great. So I put all that in. So that's really important for me, because then I can focus on what's important now. So then what I do is I take the hardest task, put it in the morning. So that could be, you know, I'm feeling really exhausted. Actually, the gym could be the hardest thing I've got to do today. Let's put it in first. Let's get it out of the way. Today it's doing my accounts. The most boring thing ever. It's not, I hate doing it, but I thought, actually, that's going to be the most important thing to do today. Recovering from my leg day yesterday is a pretty important thing, so I'm going to put my training to tomorrow. So again, it's just making sure you're focusing on those most important things first.
Doing this?
And obviously doing this.
Yeah.
This is key.
Let's not forget this, Steve. This is the whole reason we're having this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, obviously, no, I 100% agree. Mindset is a massive thing. And from someone also that very much are more of a, when it comes to me as a person, I like to think of, you know, a lot of people's mental health, obviously, you know, when it comes to a lot of things also that I do in my job. And I definitely think that having the right mindset is everything.
Yeah.
If you go into a day with a negative mindset, you are just not going to achieve the 100% that you know you can.
Yeah.
Either you're going to be sloppy with your work, you're going to make mistakes, you know?
Yeah. I typically find there's not 2 types of people, but there are people that will tend to moan and complain.
Yeah.
And there'll be people that will kind of look for solutions.
Yeah.
So, for example, like one of the things that I said to Nicole, one of the things I said to Michael when they both started working at VT, I said, look, I never want you to moan unless you've got a solution. I don't mind you bringing something to my attention where it's like, Steve, I think we could do this more efficiently. And I found a way that I think we could do it. Great, let's talk about it. Yeah. But moaning about something for the sake of it, without a solution, isn't really going to get you anywhere apart from, and especially if you tell this to the wrong person, all they're going to do is essentially reconfirm your negativity. So what you want to try to do is take responsibility for what is happening in that thing. So let's say Nicole comes to me, Steve, I'm really struggling with this. Okay, that's not a moan. She's asking for help. That's completely different. But it is a case of understanding whether you're just moaning for the sake of it or actually taking responsibilities for your actions, or whatever happens to you in life, you have to take responsibility for it. So I had a really negative experience in my previous fitness company. I got really kind of messed about, shall we say politely, by certain people that were working with me. Slated, the rest of it. But I didn't rise to any of their stuff on it, social media. And actually, they made themselves look really silly, because a lot of the community reached out to me and they're like, Steve, look, we're going to support you. But the thing is, I could have either blamed them for how they were acting. Right? I could have moaned about it, blamed them, whatever. Or I could have just gone, right, I just need to take responsibility. I let them do that. I didn't have the right paperwork in place. I didn't have the right contracts. I didn't do the work that I needed to do to protect myself. I let them do everything that they did because that was my fault. That is absolutely my fault. And I think as soon as you take responsibility for whatever it is in your life that you're unhappy about, just go, that's my fault. Okay, let's not do that again. How do I resolve it?
100%. And I think also I want to pick out a quote from the chat from the real daddom. Moaning about something is the first step to quitting. And I 100% agree with that. How many times have we sat there? If we take models as an example, how many times have you sat there and painted a model and gone, oh, this is just awful, I don't want to do that anymore, or you mess something up and you moan about it,
Well, the game.
The game is an example,
Absolutely, the game
so many times.
The game of 40k, right? So you could moan about how powerful Drakari are.
Yeah.
Right? So...
they are very powerful.
Yeah,
but
there are ways and means to get around it. And one of those things for me was, some people say, oh, Steve, why are you a playtester? Because I want to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
I want to stay up until 1:30 in, the morning sometimes, so I can make sure I'm extremely diligent with my work, to make sure I go above and beyond what I would normally do, to make sure I make time for that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think, if you're there moaning about how overpowered your opponent's army is, what you haven't taken responsibility is your own mission plan, your own army. You haven't really took the time to deconstruct how they're going to beat you and then come up with an alternative type of game plan. It's all blaming dice rolls, right?
I was about to say that again, picking out Kelsey's comment of the difference between blaming dice and blaming positioning of your own models. If we take that game I lost as an example, my dice were fine. There was nothing wrong with my dice. It was because I fell into a trap and it went like that. And then the whole game just went like that. Now, it's easy for me to sit there and go, my dice were bad.
Yeah.
But that's just not factually correct.
Yeah, something... I played one of our academy students, and he was running Hiveguard, right?
Oh, yeah.
My
boy.
Yeah, Connor. And we had I was running my Blood Angels, he's running the sort of metalist Hiveguard, and I've got one of two options, right? I can either be negative about this whole environment that I'm in. I'm up against a metalist, I've got Assault Marines, and or I look at it and go... he's given me an opportunity here. Yeah. And before I even started playing that mission, I looked at his army and I thought, right, I just need to basically touch the Hiveguard. That's the most important thing to do. If I can stop them from shooting, I've got a game.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, so I went first and I just took a little bit of time and basically found a gap. And I thought, right, I've got, I think it was like a 10-inch charge. I was like, if I make that 10-inch charge, it's massive. Well, how can I help that? Well, I can save myself a reroll, so it'll be the only charge I make. And I've got a chaplain ability gets me +2. Well, I'm going to use it. I'm going to make sure that I don't even think I rolled for it. I just spent the 2 CPs to automatically do it because I knew that if I can just get rid of any failure point, what it is, however insignificant, I need an 8-inch charge with a 50-50 with a reroll. If I make it, I've got a chance to turn this game around. And I went for it. Paid off. Made the 8-inch charge. Did my pile-in, consolidate, killed the unit I wanted to, the screening unit. Brilliant. Whereas I could have just been moaning about how overpowered his list is, been completely negative, not asked him the right questions, not asked him exactly how the blips work, because I'm trying to figure out what it is I can get around those blips. And without the right questioning, If I'd have just been negative rather than working on the solution, then I would have not figured out that, yeah, I can't. A lot of people say, oh, you can't go within 9. You can't move within 9 inches of a blip. You can't end your move within 9 inches. So I could jump over it, okay, and I can charge through it. I just can't end my movement within a blip. So blips have radiuses. Obviously, there was a point where it was a little bit lower than the other areas. I found the wink link in the screen, hit that spot. But again, I was like super positive about seeing this problem to unravel with my Blood Angels, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And you know, it was a good win for the Blood Angels that day.
Yeah, and I think again though, if we bring that all back in, that how the first thing that got you to that point was your mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think also, if we look at the topic a bit, your mindset got you to that, and it motivated you to make these decisions, to analyze the game properly.
Yeah.
And, you know, and as I said, that's just a prime example of, you know, among other things, obviously we will go into Leicester a bit more in a bit, obviously about how we both did, because obviously we both did attend amongst other VT students and coaches. Some of them, Michael, had insane runs, yourself as well, Ben, and obviously we'll cover that in a bit. I'll just pick something out from the chat that I like seeing. Just G Minis has said, any plans to expand Fit for 40k? It's a great little motivator we put in the old brackets.
So obviously with my background used to be running group coaching programs for fitness. So there might be something in the future. If what I don't want it to do is detract from VT. I don't want it to be a distraction for either myself and take too much time away from what I'm trying to achieve. And I hate doing stuff badly. So if I do it, I want to do it properly, and I want to give it enough thought and time. It could be a group coaching program in the future. I've got all the resources, all the books, absolutely everything, all the ebooks that I've written, all the software, the Excel programs to track everything, to set numbers, to hit calorie goals. It's all there. It would literally be a case of recording a few videos to bring it all together. But we'll see. I mean, January is obviously a great time normally for most people to start a fitness venture, but I hate starting something in January. I think starting something in January is a really bad time to start, because I think you do it for the wrong reasons, which is why I'm starting my fitness thing now, starting it before Christmas, because if it's a priority in my life, why wait until January? Because I want it now. You know, there's nothing stopping me from starting today, because if I want to start in January, then or as soon as I have a bad week, I'll start Monday. No, it's awful. Start right now.
Yeah.
If you slip up on anything it is, you start immediately to improve that and resolve that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think obviously that's very important, is obviously, because the thing is that you can be motivated to do something in the moment, and that makes you then say, I want to do it in January.
Yeah.
But actually, no, it's all about attacking it in the moment.
Yeah.
For example, you know, I want to better my health. So we had a conversation about it. You were very kind and lent me a few tips. Obviously, I'm going to start it properly when my work calms down, because at the moment I physically don't have the time. Otherwise, I'd be never sleeping. My mum would wonder where I've got to. But obviously, you know, so for example, I did that. I bought a load of books about it. You know, we've been reading it. I've got my own weights and stuff. You can tell I don't know any of it's called. And obviously, you know, I'm just trying to better myself.
Yeah.
And that was my motivation. That's my mindset. And do you know what? Since doing it, I've had a lot more positives.
Yeah.
Do you know what? A lot of my games at Leicester, obviously, you know, again, we'll go into it properly. I had a lot of hard matchups, in my opinion. A lot of matchups that probably previously I would have gone no. But actually, because of the mindset I'm in at the moment,
Yeah.
I thought I was a big deal.
You are a big deal, Jake.
I've heard. But yeah, let's have a look in the old chat real quick. Let's have a look at something. So Justin Dean has said, can you speak to the international rest in motivation? I feel like the conversation of getting motivated ignores all self-care. You can't do leg day every day and expect the muscles to repair, you know? This is obviously a very fitness-based question for you, Steve. Obviously, what do you think about what Justin Dean said there? Obviously, he's got a very good point.
So intentional rest.
Not international.
Not international rest, intentional.
The Euros will have to be postponed again then.
So intentional resting, right? So whether it's fitness or let's bring it back to 40K, right? So you can only focus on so many things, right? Your brain you always get like a lag of the thing that you were thinking about before will now start to come into play when it actually, brings into your next task. So whatever, like, take yourself at work today, wherever it might be. I bet there was something that you were doing at work today where you were focusing on it, but if you were doing a task before, there'll be a little bit of residue left over that you're still committing to that previous task. And sometimes what you need is like a reset button, right? You either need a break, gap. So between tasks, I do certain things at work to break up that. So let's say it's I'm working on my accounts, and then I know I've got to, let's say, write some social media posts, or I need to, do something else really important, answer some emails. I'll just tidy up for 30 minutes. I'll go and paint a model for 20 minutes, whatever it might be, just to break that up. So any residue that I'm still considering about that previous task, I can box it off whilst I'm doing this. So I'll give you an example in 40K, right? So you've had a turn, maybe dice didn't really go as well as you'd hoped. Yeah. How many times at the table have you still been upset about the turn before's dice rolls? You're letting that residue in that fatigue carry over now into this turn. And I think it's really important. So sometimes you need to find your reset button where you go, okay, I'm going to take some time off, whether it's just going, Jake, can I get you a drink? Walking over to the bar, contemplating everything, coming back. And the amount of brain waves I've had whilst walking to the bar, and I come back and I go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different, yeah? Because that allows you to get rid of that. So what we appreciate here with intentional rest is understanding that there's always going to be residue. There's always going to be like a residue of fatigue, whether it's, mentally, physically, whatever. So, you can't, for example, train legs every day. You can train every day, but your periodization of your program has to be impeccable. But sometimes do you want to? So then you end up getting like a residue and fatigue of having to go to the gym, focusing on those sessions. So sometimes it is just a case of, for example, today I took the day off because I'm focusing on my recovery, because yesterday's session was really important. Yeah. I'll bring it back in tomorrow. And now, as long as I achieve what I need to, so again, when we go back to reverse engineering your goals, so if I know that I want to add, 4 centimeters on my leg circumference, if that's the goal, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, I'm going to do that over the course of 12 months. So in 12 months, we got 50-ish weeks, given like a week of holiday or a week off or whatever. So 50 weeks. Okay, well, I'll train legs twice a week. So I got 100 leg sessions. I've got 100 leg sessions to put 4 centimeters on my legs.
So that's a lot of legs.
That's a lot of leg days.
That's right? A lot of leg days. But it's about that motivation, like you said, and that's super, super important. And the mindset you're in. Obviously, there are a few people popped in the chat. Hello, Liam.
Liam's in.
And Liam, as also for everybody, obviously, we're probably finishing up around, we said about 8:30, I think we said.
Yeah.
An hour later, 9:30, Liam Dempsey, over on Liam Dempsey, you can check out his beer and banter stream again with a lot of very good vibes, a lot of good chatting there, which can also be a really nice way to end your working week with him. So obviously, make sure to go check that out.
Yeah.
There's also obviously another thing I want to mention real quick. Dan is in the chat as well. So Dan reached out to you regarding a GoFundMe, is it? That's
yes.
In the link in the description. Do you want to just quickly speak about that for the viewers, just as obviously it's quite an important thing?
Yeah, so Dan reached out to me and shared his very unfortunate situation that he's in at the minute with his family. Unfortunately, his mum has been is terminally ill and doesn't have long left. And Dan's just had a newborn baby, so congratulations, Dan. And what they are saving to do is go on one last family holiday together. So his mum and his daughter can basically spend some time together. So we've put the GoFundMe link in the description below. Whether it's £1, whether it's 50p, I'm sure that will help. Or maybe even something a little bit more will help Dan and his family go on that last holiday together. So, again, Dan, we wish you all the very best. Yeah. And that link is in the description below if you would like to support that.
Yeah, a very, from speaking from someone, Dan, who had a very similar situation with their family member and also goes through something with my own mother, obviously being quite ill in herself. I do wish you all the best. I truly do. But yeah, so obviously, obviously, if you can do anything, that'd be amazing. We're bringing it back to the show real quick, obviously. So obviously we spoke about the mindset, we spoke about the motivation. I think we need to talk about some models now.
Probably
Steve.
should talk about some 40k.
Let's talk about some models. But obviously, if you guys are liking this, please let us know in the chat, because obviously all feedback is basically going to make this show better. So at the moment, we're going to be doing bi-weekly.
Yep.
So the next one will be in, it should be on Christmas Eve, but I think we could do it on Christmas Eve. I don't mind. If you guys want to see it, I'm fine with doing it. If you're fine with doing it.
I don't know about Christmas Eve. I might have to see Amy.
Or we could do it on the Thursday. Even
we'll see. Yeah.
So at some point we'll do it. But again, if you like this and you want it to continue, obviously let us know.
Yeah.
Models. Now, Steve, I know you think you are one, and you were one, and you probably still are one. Can I share the link on? Yeah. They're talking between themselves. Sorry, I thought it's Liam.
Yeah.
Someone else ask a question. What's your favourite model? Let's just go straight in there.
Oh right.
And don't give me all this. My favourite, is a bit subjective.
My favourite model. It has to be the AOS model.
I know which one you're going to say, and do you want me to say it?
Go on.
Sigvald the Magnificent.
Yes.
There we go.
What an absolute baller.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
My favourite model is actually Be'lakor.
Okay, yeah.
Because he used to be my old favourite model.
Right.
For his old model.
Okay.
Because I always used to read the stories about him. And in Age of Sigmar, obviously Warhammer Fantasy at the time, with him and Gotrek and Felix, who I also like to think is you and me. Have you ever read Gotrek and Felix?
I have, yeah.
Then you would know. So yeah, obviously there's that. In terms of obviously models and gaming, we did obviously recently, as we've mentioned a few times during this, went to the Leicester GT this last weekend.
Yeah, so it's a 360 player event.
It was obviously ran by the people at Warhammer Tournaments, and they do a lot of the big GT super majors in the UK.
Yeah.
One of which obviously being the LGT, which I think is the more notable one of them.
Yeah.
There was an AOS event as well. There's a 40k event. The 40k was the big super major, and you decided to take the Blood Angels, obviously, as you mentioned.
I did.
What? Why? Just out of interest, why? Because I know why. You know why, but the people don't know why.
So I've been waiting for something to be released for a while. And obviously Warhammer community have just, as of a couple of days or a few days ago, released 2 new missions, didn't they?
They did.
They released 2 new missions. And I cannot wait to see this mission pack out in its fullest, because those 2 new missions are incredible. And I just wanted to take something just fun. I've been with the sisters, I've been playing the Sisters Army all year. I've had some really good success with them, but it's just getting a little bit stale, and I needed something else. And I thought, do you know what would be great is I'll just take the Blood Angels. So I sat there and I thought, right, what's a fun list to take? I was like, right, I picked a theme, and I wanted to take the most thematic Blood Angel list I possibly could. So everything had to have a jump pack that possibly could. Which is why I've got 3 units of Assault Marines. 3 units of Assault Marines. Regular, firstborn Assault Marines, mate. Not those Intercessor guys. Not those Assault Marines. I'm on about old school Assault Marines. They get 1 attack each.
Now, Steve.
1 attack they get.
I know how proud you are that you don't get drunk or do anything else. But at one point, when I saw that list, I did think he's had a few too many whiskey sours.
The whiskey sours or whiskey hours have had too many. But no, it was a really interesting list. I think there was a lot of, apparently Zach said to me, who runs the Warhammer tournament, he's like, your list has been the most talked about of the entire event, which was awesome. It's great to see that. I think people are excited to see me play Blood Angels again. I had Dante in the list, obviously. Ashtaroth. Nobody takes Ashtaroth.
Nobody takes Ashtaroth.
I take him.
Except this guy, right?
Everyone was like, why not taking that, the chaplain on bike? And I'm like, well, he's not Ashtaroth, is he? He doesn't have a jump pack. So, and then I had the sanguinary priest in the list with the jump pack. And then I had 3 units of Incursors. Unfortunately, they cannot get jump packs, because that's why I'm gone for the pre-game move instead. So they're kind of as quick.
Yeah.
And then I've got 3 units of Death Company. Most people take one. I was like, no, I'm going to take 3 units of Death Company, 2 units of Sanguinary Guard, a Banner Guy that gives me extra movement, 3 units for Assault Marines. That was the list. And I tell you what, in all of my games, the MVPs were the Assault Marines. The Assault Marines, the Death Company, and Ashtaroth were by far the most valuable tools in my toolbox. Unbelievable. Because I was looking at this unit on paper, the Assault Marines, and I was like, well, I really like Zephyrin. So Zephyrin for the sisters, for Bloody Rose, they get 4 attacks each. They're, strength 4, -3 AP, 1 damage, right? Only 5 wounds, though, for a unit of 5. They can get reroll misses and reroll wounds, or they can get +1 to wounds, sorry. So I thought, well, if we take an Assault Marine, 100 points for 2 wounds, I get an additional wound. I'm tougher. I get 1 attack base, +1 for being a Space Marine, +1 for a Chainsaw, and +1 for being a Blood Angel. 4 attacks a model. Actually now, at -2 in that Assault Doctrine, really think that this unit's got some utility here. And for me, there's no way around the fight last in the book. So the only way that, or the ways that I used my Assault Marines were rodding, unbelievable at getting Retrieve Octeris data, fantastic at denial objectives, move blocking, they were there for that. Screening out deployment zones with a 14-inch move with an advance. So their base move is 16 inches because you get +1, +1 dice roll. Obviously, the minimum you can only roll is a 1, so you're always on a 16-inch move because the +2 for the banner. And then take an Overwatch, just throw them guys on in. And then the other thing that I do is the way I get around. This is a really cool trick, which we have a lesson on this on the Academy actually. But basically, in short, if you're up against a unit that can interrupt or make you fight last, you use this unit to base every single model, and then you put your other unit that you want to hit it in a very particular place where only one model can fight that unit if they do interrupt, and then your big unit just completely wipes out the rest. So, it was absolutely incredible, those Assault Marines. And then Ashtaroth, going up to flat damage 4, just... going into Hive Guard, picking up an entire unit. I think he did that a couple of times. Going up to, Admech Iron Striders, picking them both up. Armigers, just easily taking Armigers down for days. And he really fuels the Death Company, giving them +1 to hit. Then obviously the banner giving +1 to hit. So actually you can get Death Company with Thunderhammers that are normally hitting on 4s, now hitting on 2s. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. So, it was absolutely fantastic with... the list. I loved it. And, somebody said here, did people underestimate it? Yeah, they absolutely did. They did not see the Assault Marines coming.
You had a hard run as well. Like, obviously, I ended up taking your sister's army. So, obviously, if anyone's not is unfamiliar with it, obviously, we had Junith on a little flying thing. We had Karen the Canness, Patricia, Pauline, Dogma, the NHS, the Hospitaller. We had 3 units of Battle Sisters. We had the units of Sacrosancts, Retribution. The classic Stephen box.
Yeah. So you took that list.
I took that list. Order of Our Martyred Lady as well. Obviously, if you do want to know more about it, obviously we may be able to do maybe on a future episode, maybe a deep dive into army lists. So maybe it'll be more appropriate maybe when a chapter approved comes out potentially. Yeah. If they've shown off those missions, the potential points changes could come with it as well. Who knows? But obviously game 1 for you,
Admech.
You were very worried about this. Yeah. And I think very worried is definitely the PG way of me saying this.
Yeah, I was basically game 1 was Admech, and it was the cohort. It was Metallica cohort, and there was 3 units of infiltrators, there was 3 units of Rust Stalkers, big block of the Rangers, and I played an absolute gent as well. Yeah. Beautifully painted army. Anyway, and I thought with all the fight last that the army had, the interrupts, the mortal wounds in combat, the infiltrators to sort of knock out all the other units' abilities, to the incursors and the rest of it for the denial. It's one of those things that I was like, this is going to be a really, really hard game. And Admech are a really strong book, right?
Yeah.
So they got some really good secondaries in their book. Anyway, long story short, basically ended up in a situation where I won that game. I think I won 97 to 33. Yeah. Ooh. So it went really, really well. Yeah. It did go really well that game. So then next game, I'm up against the Hive Guard, Connor, as we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
Saw an opportunity, I went for it. Turn 1, I just moved my entire army into the middle of the table. Just moved in advance, this massive brick of just Blood Angel. And I thought, I don't even need to hide because he can shoot me indirectly.
Yeah, exactly.
So touching cover kind of helps, but not really that much. So anyway, just chuck the entire army straight in the middle. And I thought, whatever you don't kill is going to hit you next turn. And yeah, I just penned in the Hive Guard into the corner of the table, leaving my incursors to just sit on all the objectives.
Yeah.
And he couldn't touch them because I could keep them outside of 36. Yeah, it was one of those things that went really, really well. That game, I think I won that game 94-47 against the Hive Guard.
So again, another big score there.
But with Blood Angels, I know.
Yeah, I know. And then obviously game 3, you played versus another meta list.
14 Armigers.
That was that was also a sight to behold, seeing 14 Armigers. There was a few people there with those sort of armies.
Well, because obviously with their benefits now, with the objective secured, counting as 5 models, game changer for them. So in this list was just so hard to play against because it is like you can't really charge much because whatever you don't kill kills you.
Yeah, exactly.
And the objective secured was key. So anyway, long story short, did all right in that one as well.
Yeah,
Scored 97 because I took Rod in each game. 97-25.
Yeah.
So that was another big one. So at this point, at the end of day 3, I'm seeded number 2. I'm on top table in the morning, playing against Boris from Bad Moons Cafe.
Yeah, the eventual runner-up of the event, Big Bad Boris.
Big Bad Boris with his Tricari.
Yeah.
And it was priority target. And I was gutted because this is a mission where it's an easy secondary for both players.
Yeah.
And I can't really deny his secondaries too much like I could in other games. Anyway, me and Boris had a beautiful game. I went second. The key thing here was that he's managed to get the first drop. And that first drop being the Mandrakes in the middle of the table, stopping any sort of fall on fury from my part. Stopped me to put my incursors to sort of screen him out. So it was a really tough game. But anyway, Boris played it beautifully. We had loads of great back and forths, great sportsmanship moments. And I lost that game 97-93.
Oh, 4 points.
I know. I scored 93 and I lost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Me and Michael know exactly how that feels as well.
So that was that. Lost my first game at game 4. And then into game 5, I played against Death Guard.
And now to give some people some context, obviously some new people, when Steve dropped playing Blood Angels, because you did, I'm not letting you live this down. He dropped playing Blood Angels when the Death Guard book dropped because of this little...
One character.
This one guy called, are you okay with me saying it?
Yeah,
you go into fits otherwise sometimes. The Foul Blight Spawn with Revolting Stench. If Steve could swear right now, he would. Because how you hate this character. And a lot of people do as well, but you especially.
Well, when you've got a character that can completely take away every single army-wide rule just because you go within 6 inches of it, kills me. It's one of the strongest characters in the game. Without a shadow of doubt, this character is one of the strongest.
He's mad.
So I was like, great. He had 3 Contemptor Dreadnoughts with the Volkites.
So again, you can another meta list.
Yeah, 2 Blade Burst Crawlers, the Flirt Bloat Drones. Anyway, Death Shroud Terminators.
How do these people sleep at night? Honestly.
Anyway, the end score on that one, I didn't actually kill much.
No.
I only killed 1 Contemptor Dreadnought. So I looked at the mission, or looked at his army in terms of where it was deployed, and he had 1 Contemptor that was a threat. The other 2 were just going to make a beeline straight down the middle of the table. But he had this 1 Dreadnought that was going to threaten my objective on the corner where my incursors were. And these units won me the game with the incursors in this match. So on this mission, what happens is basically you hold an objective if you hold it in your command phase, right? So I put all my incursors towing onto an objective. So if I go first, or if I go second but he doesn't kill or take me off this objective, that objective's mine, I can then move away from it and move out of his threat range. So anyway, I go first and I've got all my incursors on objectives, and I thought I just need to get rid of that dreadnought because he's going to threaten me. So I took him off that. Fall on Fury, Death Company, and sacrifice themselves like the absolute bosses they are. Get rid of that dreadnought. And then the only other things I killed all game was just 2 units of 16 Plague Marines. That was it. Poxwalkers even.
If you killed 2 units of 16 Plague Marines, that's not an only.
No. So I just killed, 33 models I killed. But the rest of the game I just moved blocked. Yeah. Just would not let he moved the Death Shroud to take an objective that he had to for Stranglehold. And I thought, right, you can stay over there. So I just move blocked them every single turn. Those Assault Marines, turn after turn, going in, move blocking, move blocking, move blocking, move blocking. And I won that game to 97-85.
So again, close scoring game as
yeah,
well.
Fairly close scoring game. It was sweeping clear. So it is quite a high scoring game for both armies because he can take Stranglehold and Direct Assault. Yeah.
Yep. No, and I think obviously in a testament, I just want to say as well, massive thank you. We just hit 100 viewers.
That's awesome.
On the stream. So thank you so much. Oh, and it just went back down. But obviously, thank you so much, obviously, for enjoying your Friday evenings with us so far.
Yeah.
In terms of my games, I wasn't as successful. So obviously, just to confirm, Steve, you finished 4-1.
Finished 4-1, and I scored. Well, I dropped out of the 500 points, which I'm really proud about. This is the thing I'm most proud about. And the reason why I'm most proud about this is because I never focus on the win-loss ratio.
No.
I focus on how many points I score. So if in each game I can try and score more points on that mission, I know I'm doing okay. With the Sisters, it was 89 points. If I can score my 89, I'm happy. With the Blood Angels, I actually think they can score a little bit higher than the Sisters.
Yep.
I think their average is going to be 94. So that's what I'm going to be going for in each game. So for me, it is a case of I was super happy with the performance, and I only dropped 32 points out of 500. So I'm pretty happy with that.
And bearing in mind as well, some of those points you had to mandatory dropped, or is that including the ones, because obviously 97?
So that, yeah, I mean total.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so I have to drop, because I took Rod in every game.
Yeah. You have to drop 15 in total.
I have to drop 15 points, yeah.
So in theory, you only really dropped about like 6, 17, something like that.
Yeah.
If you think about it like that, which obviously is an amazing achievement, Steve, and a testament to obviously your ability as a player.
Thank you very much, mate.
On to moi.
Yeah.
So obviously I took your Sisters.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with your sister.
No.
And so obviously first game I had 5 Dread Knights. Now this was a situation I even said to you, Steve. I was like, I'm playing versus a meta list, quite a meta list, looking at it on paper. But luckily, where I knew the Grey Knight book, I knew exactly what to do.
And also, I actually think the Sisters play really well into Grey Knights.
They play insanely well into Grey Knights because obviously you've got that 5+ deny with the Sacred Rite. You've got your fight last. You've got your mortal wounds. You've got your ability to turn off invulnerable saves.
Yeah.
Shooting on death. All these other things this army does so well.
Yeah.
So obviously going into game 1, saw the 5 Dread Knights. I was like, right, I know what I need to do here.
Yeah.
And I just got to go hunt some Dread Knights.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I killed all 5 in that game. 1 a go.
Baller.
I was very, very happy with that. Ed, absolute gent as well at the table. So I scored, I believe it was like 94-76 in that game.
Okay, nice.
So obviously really, really happy. Obviously I took Leap and Rod. So again,
you have to drop some, yeah.
Had to drop those 6 points. I then thought to myself, right, I've done it. I've beaten 5 Dread Knights. Hopefully I don't have to do that again.
Yep.
Match the exact same list game 2 from a chap called Raph. Again, really, really nice chap. Again, I also want to point out all my opponents, absolute gentlemen throughout the whole event. So obviously played that. Wasn't as lucky this time.
Okay.
Played Vital Intelligence. I had a game plan going into it, and I managed to stick to that. So I did manage to score myself, I believe it was 71 points in that game.
Yeah.
But he ended up tabling me. He made some fantastic plays, made the right decisions, knew exactly what to do. And yeah, just an overall great player there. So I can't really complain about that game.
Nice.
Then I played versus one of a very good friend of mine in the hobby, Dan. So Dan is also friends with Mike.
Yep.
And he's a great chap, obviously. Beautifully painted Dark Angel army.
Yep.
And this game was very much the case of, this was one of we spoke about the army in the car ride up.
Okay.
And you told me, Jake, this army does Leap and it does Rod and it does Stranglehold super well. So just go those every game. So I was like, okay, Steve, yeah, sure. except on this mission, which in my opinion, obviously, because it's overrun. So this is the one where you can basically hold them without having to move.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'll go leap, I'll go rod, I'll go stranglehold.
Yep.
Should have gone banners.
This is probably so out of the two, out of rod in banners,
Yeah.
the only time you ever want to take banners is when it's a 3 objective mission near your deployment zone.
Yeah.
And also they do not have any pre-game moving or infiltrating units. Yeah. And if those boxes are ticked, then you take banners. Because otherwise you will enable your opponent, even before you start playing, because they'll go banners, to actually get 3 points on you. So so you could lose that game, 197.
Exactly that. So obviously, so I looked into it and I went, okay, that's where I'm going to go. Obviously, hindsight's a beautiful thing. Next time I play Overrun, I'm definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
And me and Dan just had a fantastic game, a very, very in good spirits game as well. There was a lot of moments where we were very clear with our rules. Obviously, I was reminding him things, he was reminding me things, so really great spirits in that game. Lost that game, I believe it was, he got 92 and I think it was something like 67, something like that.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, again, hindsight looking at that, Stranglehold probably wasn't the best pick for me. Could have gone something like Engage because I didn't really want to go into his zone as far as I had to commit myself for that Stranglehold.
Yeah, because you need to be able to cross the entire table to get that Stranglehold. So yeah.
I did get an unfortunate charge in that game, but I looked at it, and I always look at these sort of moments where obviously where a lot of people see that, but if you've got that charge, you win. I like to think about it as I maybe would have scored some more points, but I don't see me winning that game from that. I think it was my secondary picks that let me down there slightly.
Yeah, you're on the back foot, and then obviously the Dark Angels got Stubborn Defiance, which is on that mission probably an auto 15.
Oh yeah, it definitely was.
Unless you have to just completely threat saturate one side of the table with all the objective secured units in the possible world.
Yeah.
And how I would have gone about that is looking at the turn in which, because how Stubborn Defiance works is if you can take down that unit. Was it Stubborn Defiance on the left, the right, or the middle?
It was in the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Right. So how you go against getting rid of that is with the sisters, is they've got some really cool rules. So especially the Order of Martyr Lady.
Yeah.
The Dog Martyr puts on Obsec onto the Zephyrin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then what you do is with the Zephyrin then, you give them the strap for double Obsec.
Yes.
So each of those models now counts as 20 models.
Oh, each one model counts as 2. There's 10 in the unit, that counts as 20. Yeah.
Then what you do is you charge the unit that's on the objective.
Yeah.
But not with the Zephyrin.
No.
You charge it with a Rhino, whatever it might be, and you just base every single model so it cannot move. And then what you do is you just tow on your Zephyrin onto that objective, just towing on to 20 models. You take down his banner, you stop him holding 3, and then what you also do at that stage is you get rid of that Stubborn Defiance, so he has to go back to the start. But that one plays, you have to figure that out from turn 1 when you're going to do it, and it's probably around turn 3 is the key time, but you have to fully commit to it.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, that's a very much of a play that I now know from thank you for your guidance and also from other things as well. But obviously in the moment, sadly, I didn't have that one, but I know these things for next time. And I think it's, again, a very important thing to note that you learn more from your defeats. Never sit there and say, like we were saying before about those dice rolls or anything like that, sit there and go, or maybe if I just didn't overextend, or maybe I could have used my stratagems better.
Or just not pick the right secondaries would be a start, wouldn't it?
Stop being a wally. And get those secondaries nailed in.
Yeah, I think it's one of those that you mentioned to me the other day, right? You went, what's did you go, what's Valorous Heart? What's Valorous Heart like or something?
Yeah, well, yeah, because I read, basically I was, because I'm now on a bit of a sisters hype, which we'll mention after the whole Leicester thing. Yeah. About obviously our motivations with models for next year, but I'm a bit on a sisters hype, so I was looking at some of the random ones and I was just like, what's Sacred Rose do? Because I skimmed past it and I was like, I don't know what this one does, and
I just told you
to stop being a wally.
Stop being a wally. Because what you don't have is reps, and those repetitions will help you understand repetitions on missions, repetitions against different factions, repetitions against different armies, different play styles, against picking secondaries. Repetition is key with a list. And I was really fortunate with my Blood Angels that I'd already had a lot of repetitions in. Now, although I hadn't played the arm in a year, after about game 2, it was all coming back to me. And those repetitions, literally like riding a bike, I was like, right, move there, move block here, do this, do that, use that stratagem. Repetition is key. And I think too many people sort of tweak their list too much.
Yeah.
They're constantly changing their list. They're constantly like trying different stuff out. They're taking units out, putting new ones in. They're switching armies. And the problem is that they are never really committing themselves to getting the hard repetitions in, because it's that dedication that will improve you as a player. So anyway, I'm conscious of time. I want to have loads of time for questions. So look, if you have a question for us, super chat it in and we'll get answering your questions, because at the next stage of this talk show, we're going to be answering. It's all about you guys. It's all about your questions. If you've got questions about what you want to have in your list, warlord traits, relics, what units you should be picking, the number of models, our thoughts on rules, you're maybe confused about any sort of rule interactions, then obviously the next part is for you guys who have given us your time so far. So, Jakey, game 4, who you up against?
So I played versus some Thousand Suns, Steve, and obviously, as we know, I just sort of used the same logic I used versus the Grey Knights, sidekick, I can do a boar, I can do this. We were playing priority targets again, another auto 15. It meant I didn't have to take Rod, which was really good, so I could take my leap, which is arguably a lot easier for me to do. Yeah. And I managed to score a big 97 in that one, so I was really, really happy. Obviously, after having 2 losses in a row on the previous day, managed to bounce back. Also, a massive shout out to Ben, who helped me with that matchup as well, because anyway, I do play Thousand Suns a lot. I wasn't exactly too sure what to do. Yeah. Then going into my last game, I played versus Dave. And Dave and his brother are also fans of Vanguard Tactics. They're fans of Limbs. So obviously, massive thank you to them as well. And I have to say, I had one of the best games I've ever played versus Dave. It was in a super good spirit game. This is the game that I definitely underestimated. This is the game that we referred to if I played into his game plan. Right. I definitely underestimated my ability to hold the middle of the table versus objective secured Necrons with all those tricks that you were just mentioning. Yep. And I managed to, obviously, I was quite happy because going into turn 4, it was like 60 points to 30. Mm-hmm. And I managed to pull that back to 85 to 79. Right, okay. So I only lost by 6 points after there was nearly a 30-point deficit. Yeah. And yeah, obviously that was a big learning curve for me. So obviously I finished the event 2 and 3, which obviously, a lot of people would sit there and go, obviously a positive score is really good, but I learned so much during the event. I got to meet so many amazing people. Yeah, that was the winner for me. And yeah, and obviously going forward, I'm quite excited for next year. This is a battle. I know what you're excited for. We have to wait slightly longer, I think, to see what you're going to be cooking up in the old recipe box. Now, Steve.
Time for the chat.
Yeah, so the last 20 minutes, I want to say, or longer, depending on how
many questions there are. Yeah. Yeah,
so we're going to go through the chat, obviously. Like I said, so if you want it to be priority, that we do it before everybody else, obviously make sure you super chat. Yeah. Another way of also supporting us is becoming a member. Yeah. So if you go into the link in the description, or equally just look at, depending on what device you're on, you can become a member at any tier. Yeah. And basically this will allow you to have members only content. You get access to our members only Discord. Yeah. And in addition, you get prioritized above everything else. So just G Minis is a member. Yeah. And you can tell by his green name. Yep. Are you guys going to the Bristol GT?
You are, aren't you?
I don't have a ticket yet, but I have got plans to be going. Yes, I just need to buy the ticket. Right. So I've booked the time off. I just need to go get the ticket.
So I thought it sold out, because otherwise, if I can, I'll be going.
Oh, it's my mate selling his ticket. I'm buying it off.
Oh, right. So. I see. Cool. Yeah. But yeah, probably going if I can get a ticket to the Bristol GT. Yeah.
Bristol's not too far from us, so I think that's ideal.
It's not.
No. Dave B, £2. Thank you so much for your super chat. That's really, really kind of you. On average, hardest faction you've played against? And now, I think that's obviously quite a subjective question, can be matchup dependent. But Steve, we could say it on 3, but I don't know. But I think our answers would be different here. Normally, we're a bit in sync.
I reckon we'll be the same.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Drakari.
Oh. I think Admec, because I have, like, just to put context here, I haven't actually played Drakari in a competitive format. Ugh. So I've been one of the lucky ones, but you have had to too many times.
Too many times.
So Admec for me is definitely the hardest matchup I've had. Drakari are definitely really good. I think it's very obvious and very fair to say.
The hardest thing about Drakari is that because they got that advancing charge from turn 2, they've got such reach,
Yeah.
and you've got to get them out of the transports. And you need to trade things into the transports, like Death Company or something, to kill the transports to get the guys out inside. But then they just kill you guys. Oh, anyway, it's horrific, especially because I love combat armies. So Drakari are a really good army against other combat armies. Shooting armies can do okay into Drakari because they can just shoot them off the table. It's combat armies, and because I'm a combat army player, I mean, I just have a beautiful Siege Studio Tau army. So maybe that will change next year. Who will know? So, yeah. Also, right, just quickly before we go on to any more super chats, if you want to join that 7-day challenge, learn 40k in just 7 days with us. If you're new to the game, maybe you watch battle reports, you listen to us, and you think, do you know what? I've got some models kicking about on a shelf. I could probably have a go at that. Yeah. Then get involved in our 7-day challenge, and I'll post a link in there. It's going to be awesome. Like I said, Liam Dempsey helped us out so much with the content, and I can't be more grateful to for him being my basic trainee. And it's going to be awesome. I think the live contents that we've got scheduled every day, answering your questions at every single phase. We've got a great community already. I think something like 20% of the tickets have sold already in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, which is an incredible achievement as well.
We're limiting it to only 77 people for the 7 days.
Yep.
Because we want a tight-knit community. We don't want there to be too many questions. We want to make sure we can service absolutely everybody. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. So super chat here for Ginger Steve 449. He said, who would win in a fight, He-Man or Calgar?
Now, this is quite subjective because it depends also what universe they're in. I like to use my who would win a fight, you or a bear logic when I do this. And if you want to know that logic, maybe we'll bring that up on another episode.
Guys, there's no logic in Jake's question of me versus a bear.
No, not just Steve, anybody. Maybe we'll go into it a bit more at some point during the show, but during more shows if you guys want to see more of it. Now, I've been reading the Calgar comic as of late.
Yeah.
Now, not being funny.
He-Man would smash him in that.
But is he like this He-Man?
Yeah, he's like that.
Versus Calgar.
What, in Gravis armor?
Yeah. Or is he Legends Calgar with his Terminator armor?
No, but look at that axe. That's an axe that would smash through Gravis armor. That's like Ashtoreth's axe. Flat 4 damage.
Yeah. And he's got a Storm Shield.
And he's got a Storm Shield.
But Calgar has the fists of Ultramar, the mittens of Guilliman.
Yeah, but mate, they're only D3 damage. So.
But if we had to put He-Man, what would his damage be? Flat 6?
Flat 6.
So he's like a knight.
Flat 6 damage.
So if we say He-Man's a knight,
yeah,
then I think He-Man.
Well, look at him. He's got blonde hair.
Maybe we could... Yeah, but a knight doesn't have blonde hair.
Yeah, but...
I've never seen a knight with a toupee.
Yeah, but look at them bulging biceps.
You just like He-Man because he's you.
He's shredded.
Yeah.
He's ripped.
But I think... I don't know. Do you know what?
I mean, Calgar's my boy, but He-Man, he's just got him every day of the week.
I think I've got to say He-Man on this occasion.
Yeah. Justin said, how long is the Academy lesson-wise? So the Academy is currently closed for the time being until February. Then it'll be reopening. But the lessons can be sometimes a little bit... around 10 minutes. Sometimes it can be up to about 30 minutes. It really depends on the lesson. Some are short and sharp, around 5 minutes as well. If they're just like, here's how you do this. So as I explained earlier about how you get around an interrupt, that's like a 5-minute tutorial. So there's a few little 5-minute tutorials that we know that you're going to probably watch a few times and a few times over. Some of the more longer form lessons where it's like how to, for example, analyze a codex, how to formulate the right questions to ask your opponent at the start of the table. That's a little bit longer. So, yeah. Justin's also asked, me versus Lawrence in fisticuffs. Well, Lawrence is actually...
Lawrence quite tall.
Well, he's actually trained in... that's his thing, is MMA.
MMA?
Yeah.
No wonder he plays Drakari.
Or it might be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Either way, I don't do that. So, I'm Lawrence easily.
So, yeah, I think if I had to pick between you or Lawrence, definitely Lawrence.
Yeah, he's got the skills. He's got mad skills there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If it was strength alone, I'd probably back myself.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
always
not
got to
about
back
that.
yourself. Dave B said Prince Adam could smash Calgar. I agree with that. Not to mention He-Man also has a tiger. Is he bringing the tiger?
Of course, yeah.
Is Calgar bringing the Victrix Guard then?
No, because he doesn't ride them, does he?
Oh,
bit weird if you didn't.
imagine. Go over there, sir. How's the Thursday class for LVO looking? I think that's also a good one quickly to mention as well, because obviously the VT Masterclass LVO, first one ever happening.
The in-person workshop at the LVO, yeah.
An incredible thing.
Yeah, it is.
Revolutionary
It is.
as well.
Yeah.
You're hyped.
I'm so hyped.
I'm hyped for you.
Yeah.
How is it looking?
So last I heard, I think we've sold, 7 out of the 10 VIP tickets.
Yeah.
Because there are basically the VIP tickets. If you're going to the LVO, you have to get this ticket. Basically, on the day before, we've got a long workshop where we're going to be covering loads of different aspects of the game, from developing a mission plan on the tables, using the terrain itself. We're actually in the hall playing. Frontline Gaming reached out to me and they said, "Steve, we think you're all right. You're not too bad. You kind of talk about 40k in an all right kind of way.
You're a bit muscly.
We like the way you give some people some information. But no, honestly, Frontline, thank you so much for the invite. I'm truly humbled. VT is the official education partner for Frontline. We are the only workshop that's going to be happening in terms of education at the LVO in terms of playing 40k. That exactly what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be workshop on the first day. Ben Jones is going to be over with me. Hopefully as well, Logan, who won the SoCal Open, who's also one of the VT coaches, is going to be there as well to help out. And then later on, for the people that have got the VIP ticket, you get a tray, you get a custom mat as well with the VT logo on, with the LVO, so you'll be able to see who else is a member. We're also going out for dinner in the evening.
Can I have one?
I might be able to bring you back one if you're lucky. You get dice, you get objective markers. Also, I'm going to create a Discord group for this group of individuals as well, these 10 people. So before that, I can check over lists to make sure that they're all legal, give you some list help, get to know each other. So you're going to go to the event feeling really prepared. And then once we've basically done that, you can check in with me on the day to let me know how your first game went, any other talking points you want to reflect on. And we'll keep the Discord group open for a week after the event as well, so people can, ask any questions that they have as well. So that's the VIP. I think there's 7 or 6 have gone already out of the 10.
Wow.
And then you've got the general sale tickets, which don't include the Discord, and they don't include the dinner in the evening. No. But the price is a bit cheaper. And I think there's 11 tickets left for that. So look, if you're going to the LVO, it'd be amazing to see some of you there. And if you're not going to the LVO and you just want to come to the workshop, you absolutely can. So if you fancy Vegas for the weekend, you want to go on to, come to the VT workshop with me and Jonesy, then absolutely do that. And then, you can hang out with us, whatever it might be.
That's an incredible thing. And yeah, obviously, if you want to go check that out, you can check that out on Frontline Gaming. Now, Steve, you've got some more super chats as well. Do you want to? We'll take it in turns.
Yeah, you carry on.
Right, so £5 from Phil Barfoot. Hey guys, Jake, when are we having our rematch, mate? Gutted we didn't get to arm wrestle afterwards. Now, Phil, if we arm wrestled, my arm would be broken. Okay, this guy is like 2 of you.
Wow, big,
right?
Huge.
Okay, I played him at an event in Eastleigh, Attrition Wargaming, who have a GT in February. Really, really great place. And I played versus Phil in the second round, who then went on to win it. And he absolutely took me to school, and he asked for a cheeky arm wrestle afterwards, and I was not about that. I said, unless I can tag Steve in, I'm not doing this, because I don't back myself here.
I mean, I like it. I like the fact that you've gone, I'm just going to get Steve in to do the arm wrestle for me.
That's what you are, Steve, for me. I just phone you up and go, Steve, someone's bullying me, and you go, right, and then you get out of bed and you throw the alarm clock like we said before.
Yeah, that's it.
You trundle all the way down to Eastleigh.
And just go and win arm wrestles, right?
You come in with the pose and then you just absolutely whip them. And then, obviously, there's the link going into the chat now for the Frontline Gaming Masterclass. So, again, if you want to check that out and you're going to LVO, make sure to do that.
Yeah.
And let me just quickly scroll up on the old chat. £4.49 from the 6 miles, not to be confused with the 8th mile. What colour is your paint is your background?
Oh, we can't say that.
Why?
We can't let other people have the same colour background.
Surely. It looks like the GW turquoise paint.
Funny enough, when I got back into 40k, that was the first army I painted Temple Guard green.
That's it, yeah.
Or Temple Guard blue.
Temple Guard blue, yeah.
I had an Eldar army, it was the teal that really... it's a Dulux paint. I think it's... Oh, God, that's a question, isn't it?
Maybe you can...
As you super chatted, I'll go and find out.
Right, so Steve's going to do that. I'm going to continue. We're back on the Jake show now. So £5 from Gareth Briley. Again, Gareth's a big follower in the old Liam chat, which I do on Wednesdays as well. Hello, guys. Great to see you two in a chat format. Well, thank you. Obviously, this is the first time us doing this. And again, if you are enjoying it, make sure you let us know. What's going to be your Christmas dinner of choice this year? Because Steve's not here, I'll answer for him. Definitely, I feel he's going to smash a few protein shakes, protein bar, protein turkey, maybe some protein potatoes, maybe some protein carrots, not protein Brussels sprouts, because you don't do that. I'm going to go for the traditional turkey. No cranberry sauce for me. Don't like that. Steve, I was just answering what you'd have for your Christmas dinner. I think I pretty much nailed it.
Protein shakes.
Sick. So yes, that's obviously us. And then £4.49 from
hang on a minute. Should I go back and answer
the
question?
Yeah, what was the paint?
So it's triple Dulex. It's a matte finish, and it's blue diamond is the colour.
Blue diamond.
Yeah.
And if you want to have
a wall just like this, yeah,
you can get yourself some blue diamond.
Now, all of your super chats, guys, will be going to the Create the Podcast Room Fund. I've costed it up, and I think it's going to be about £3,000.
£3,000.
£3,000.
What, for our cool little room?
Yeah. So we need to make a makeshift wall.
Yeah.
We then need the 2 chairs, and they are not cheap. Then we're going to need 2 more microphones just like this.
Yeah, that we can just have there constantly.
We need extra leads. But yeah, basically, yeah, £2,000 to £3,000 is what that's probably going to come in at. So we've raised 20 quid so far. That'll be going towards it. Yeah.
So obviously, so again, thank you guys so much. And then we've got Grim Guardsman, £4.49. Do you think FT should get the same love as BT?
FT? Flesh Tearers?
British Telecom?
Yeah, BT.
When are we going to see Guard next on your channel, and when the next surviving Jake? This is in reference to, I believe Grim Guardsman is the very kind gentleman who photoshopped us as a TV sitcom, which he is dubbed Surviving Jake.
I see.
Which, because obviously, I like to think this is a bit of our talk show. That's what
you mean me surviving you?
Yeah. So you get a bit of insight with us. So obviously, do you think the Flesh Terror model should get the same love as Black Templars? I think Templars are a very unique prospect because they're very iconic in the game.
Yeah.
They were the 3rd edition fanboys.
Let's be honest, Flesh Terrors are just wannabe Blood Angels.
Yeah, they're just darker Blood Angels with black shoulder pads.
And also, you got to think about like the Black Templars fighting style is very different to the Imperial Fists.
Yeah.
Look at me with this lore knowledge. Whereas
their fighting styles are different. Stops.
Whereas the Flesh Terrors, and Blood Angels, they do the same thing.
Yeah, but one has like a slightly different rule with a slightly different chapter master. I think it would be cool. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see maybe a plastic sprue for Flesh Terror shoulder pads would be quite cool. A plastic Primaris Gabriel Seth, maybe some other lore unit they get that may or may not really exist. But either way, I don't think they should get a full release. Personally. But I do think they should get maybe a few little things. As I said, like those shoulder pads, like Gabriel Seth.
Oh, Gabriel Seth would be sweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah, with a massive chainsword.
Massive one.
Like, literally, the biggest thing. The size of Space Marine, Steve.
Just give him one of those knight chainswords.
That would look sick, actually, wouldn't it?
Any other questions? Something about Jake, blink twice if Stephen's keeping you there against your will. No, but I'm going to start blinking.
Well, I blinked twice and then winked, but they've mistaken it as 3 times. But I managed to get in that there quite slyly. So obviously we're entering sort of the ending stages of the show, guys. So as I said, are we?
We not got any more questions?
Well, no, I mean, like, that's what I was about to say. You ruined my groove.
Sorry.
But don't worry, because I said that, we've got $4.99 from Kelsey. What attributes do you feel makes a great 40k player, and what is your definition of greatness?
Well, I mean, what attributes do you feel make a great 40k player? Go on, Jake, you answer the first one. What do you think makes the attributes of a good or great 40k player?
So I think there's a few things.
Go on.
First one, confidence.
Okay,
You
why?
have to be confident in what you're doing, the army you're using, your rules.
Yep.
And that also then gives your opponent a better game as well, because
Yep.
obviously you're not having to constantly flick around and check.
Also, what I like there is the basically think around. A lot of people are sometimes conscious that they don't know the rules well enough,
Yes.
and they don't want to play to the limit of the rules because they don't want to cheat. And genuinely, they do not want to cheat. And we get this a lot on the academy. People join because they want to have mastery of the rule set so that you know where that line is.
Yeah.
You know you play up to that line, but you don't cross it. And that's really important. Whereas a lot of people will often just kind of dip a toe in, but because they don't have that confidence, like you said, will sometimes leave a lot left on the table.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of them. Second thing is a way humility, the ability to know that obviously, being gracious in defeat and humble in victory.
Yeah.
But also there's that aspect of, let's say your opponent has a bad roll or something, or they've messed up something. It's not just about going, well, I'm just going to punish you now,
Yeah. So when I played Connor, to give an example, he had such a whiffer of a roll, like.
He did tell me about this.
Did he tell you that I told him to pick up all his dice and re-roll them?
Yeah. To put some context, if any of you do watch the Wednesday night Wargaming Wednesdays over on Liam's channel, I once got Brom. He had such a bad roll with his knights. He refused to re-roll the D6 after rolling 2 1s. I picked it up and rolled it myself. And went, that's how many shots you have.
Yeah. So, because I think as a good player, you want to win because you're the best general.
Yes.
Not because your opponent is having the worst under average luck consistently roll after roll. Yeah. I don't want to win like that because actually that takes the victory away. It doesn't taste as sweet for me. No. It's not as rewarding. It's very hollow, and I do not want a hollow victory. So I think, basically one of those things, or like you've mentioned there, is really important. Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, that ability to focus on win, to focus on what's important now, nothing else, just those things, is super important for me.
Yeah, I think a part of being a great player is also just knowing when to be humble in those situations. It's not about also going, for example, let's see, like another one, you can use humble in this aspect of not just assuming you see a list and you don't think it's very good.
Yeah.
That's another part of being humble, because you're not just looking at a list and basing your opponent's skill set off of that. Because imagine if they did that with you, Steve, with your 3 units of Assault Marines.
Let them.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though. But I think that makes a great player as well.
It literally infuriates me. There's a few players I know, and they're like, that list is trash. My list is so much better. That list hasn't got a chance against me. And I'm like, you are so arrogant.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're deluded in your own ability.
Yeah.
Because often when I see a list which is a little bit, let's call it off meta, I'm like, this guy or girl knows something I don't.
There's something here.
What am I I'm like, I'm missing something. And then I sit and think about it. I'm like, oh no, if they do this and they do that, and if this happens at turn 1 and they decide to do this, oh my God, I'm in a right mess here. And then if they don't do those things, I'm like, okay, cool, I can relax now. I can just play my game plan. I can focus on my mission plan. And you always want to get to that table, not overly confident. You want to be confident in your own ability, but you don't want to be overly confident or arrogant. I think there's a really clear definition there is you want to make sure that you give your opponent every single ounce of respect that they deserve to be an equal and fair opponent to you.
Yeah, and that's more what I mean by the humble side of it as well. And I think these are the two things personally that do make a really good player. If I had to pick a third, it'd probably just be like being clear, but that's about it.
Can I go on a rant?
We'll read the super chat,
okay,
and then you can rant. Right, ready?
Because I've got a big one.
Because Gaz Briley has been an absolute hero and donated another £5 to the cause, hoping 2022 will be the year I get my models done and start to play 9th edition. You guys have a series coming up for beginners. What does it contain, please? Obviously, this is referring to basic training again. Yeah. Do you want to just quickly mention it again for the people that may have missed it? Yeah, so look, basic training is exactly what it says on the tin. What you need to do for this
It's very, very simple. It starts on Tuesday. The course is going to run for 8 days, and that is it.
Yeah.
It's an 8-day course. You get lifetime access to the program.
Yeah.
But the live content will be released. So you get the pre-recorded content where we're going to be going over all the phases of the game. So we look at the movement phase, what you can do, what you can't do. And then there's a mini game just on the movement phase.
Yeah.
So to give you guys a bit of a sneak peek, you can't shoot.
No.
You can't charge.
No.
You can't advance.
No.
And it's called The Race.
Against time.
You race against your opponent. So we
Nice.
give you some really cool missions where you can focus on move blocking,
Yeah.
unit order of movement, all the key things. And then when we introduce then the shoot phase, and then we start to build these layers up. Like I said, there's lives every single day to support it. And it's perfect for those people that are getting back into the hobby or are completely new or just feel like, actually, I haven't really dedicated much time. And because we're going to keep you accountable, even if you've kind of dibbled and dabbled with it, but you haven't really fully committed, because we're going to keep you accountable, we're going to make sure you get through that rule book and that rule set. So in 7 days' time, by next Tuesday, you're going to be like, yeah, I can play a 1,000-point mission, and I don't need to look at the rules. I know what I'm doing.
Which is incredible.
That's exactly we want to get you to the point where you're autonomous in what we're doing.
Yeah.
So then, hopefully in the future, you go, right, I'm ready for the academy now.
And you have that confidence and clarity to become a 40k commander.
Absolutely.
Right. Ready? I'm going to pull the pin.
Can I go on my rant?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Right. So I was playing Boris. Me and Boris are playing Leicester.
Not to be confused with Johnson.
No. We're on top table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pretty big dogs.
Game table 1.
Table 1, got his Drakari. I've got my Blood Angels. We're having a laugh. We got Malik there as well.
Yeah.
He's watching, and at some point he looks over to Boris, and he's like, "Oh, Boris, you just need to do this." And he looked at me and he went, "Steve, I'm so sorry," because he realised he just technically coached someone. And I was like, "Malik, how dare you?"
You dance over there, Malik.
And I said to Boris, I said, look, I actually said to Malik, I said, look, I am going to be ecstatic and really pleased if Boris beats me,
Yeah.
because I cannot go the distance with this list,
Yeah, exactly.
because I actually had to drive home. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to make the final rounds anyway, even if I did make them. And I didn't think that the Blood Angel had all the tools to meet every single list, right? I mean, I was still very unsure of it. So, me, Boris, Malik, we're having a great laugh at the table. Now, on the table next to us,
I know what you're about to say now. And I 100% agree with what you're about to say.
so table next to us, not the same vibe.
2 individuals that will be unmentioned. One person who's quite a nice person. The other person who
Yeah.
will remain nameless.
So, table next to us, and obviously there's loads of tables around, but on this table, all we could hear is these 2 people, right? And it gets to the end of the game, or end of the, basically, time. There's like a minute left or whatever the round. And they're having this argument. One player wants to talk out the next turn, the final round, to
Yep.
take it to turn 5. The other player doesn't. Shock horror.
Because at that point, they were in a winning position.
Because they're in a winning position, although their opponent is going second, and they need that final turn.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the guys turns to me and he goes, "Oh, Steve, just as an independent person, what would you do? We've got a minute left. Do we just talk out this round?" I'll be like, "Absolutely you do. You take the game to a natural conclusion and a finish."
I agree with that 100%.
And it was absolutely infuriating listening to this other individual talk about how, oh, they don't like it when bloody, people talk things out, when in other games they want to talk it out because
They're losing.
they're losing and they know they want to win. So one of the things that really gets me is this kind of wishy-washy approach with sportsmanship and fair play. If you are a sportsman,
Mm-hmm.
you want to win because you were the best general at the table,
Exactly.
right? That is absolutely what you want to do. Not because, I can game my opponent out here and, I win.
Yeah.
Completely, utterly unsporting,
Yeah.
and that win becomes completely, utterly hollow.
And no, and I 100% agree with that. And I'm very much an advocate of, and Steve, you've done it in the past as well, I've done it, where let's say I've been in a winning position on turn 4, like I've been in that exact same position where I've been winning, and I've turned around to my opponent and gone, do you know what? If we were to play the next turn, you win. So let's just quickly figure out how many points I'm going to score.
Yep.
Let's figure out how many points you're going to score, and I'm happy to give you the win. Yep. And do you know what? So many times people have turned around shocked and gone, oh, I've never had that before. And I'm like, well, no, because if we were to play the next turn, you win. Yep. So what's the point? You know, we had another situation, another event we went to on the last table where the table below them, you know, they took a bit too long doing something, which then resulted in the game having to be hard dice down at turn 4, and because of that, another individual won. Yep. Later, those same two people agreed that if they played the next go, the other person would win. And I think that's mental. Yeah. That those two people agree that, and they still don't put that down as the result. Yeah. It is, especially when, you know, because you are setting up an entire game plan for the 5th to the end of the game, right? Especially if you know you're going second. Like you don't just go, oh, actually, we've been playing, you know, maybe I've been pacing myself, right, in a marathon. Yeah. Maybe I want a last-minute sprint. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, actually, you got to stop now. You're like, what about my sprint? I've been gearing up for this. You've had your 3 minutes. Yeah, sorry, you got to stop there. It 19 miles, you got to stop. You're like, well, what about the others? Look, I think it's one of those things where what you have to do is understand that there needs to be a clear, decisive conclusion. So Sean said here, I've lost many GT rounds due to talking it out, but that's the best thing to do unless one player is playing fast while the other player is playing significantly slow, eating the round clock. Absolutely. If there's foul play in terms of slow play, that's completely different. Oh, yeah. And I'm also not suggesting you talk out, for example, 3 turns. No. It was an instance where one player, all they need to do is move on to an objective. That's pretty much all they need to do and all they can do. In really, what actually dies is irrelevant at that point. In a lot of instances, it's like, I'm just going to do an action in the corner, move on to that objective. I'm going to hold it. You're not. I'm not going to charge. I'm just going to put an OBSEC unit on it. Cool, done. I get my 15 points on the end of the game. If it's very clear and concise and easy, where a referee could stand at the table or somebody independent could stand there and go, yeah, completely agree. There's nothing your opponent can do to interact with you to stop you from scoring those points. You absolutely do it. If there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes, or if both players have used up a lot of the same equal amount of time, let's say they're both using a chess clock and they've both clocked out at turn 3 and it's far too hard to call, then in those situations, you don't then talk out 4 and 5 if, you know, there's lots of if, buts and maybes. But if it's very clear and concise as to what's going to happen, you do it because you want to win and you want to do it in a way that you want to win and be victorious. And you want to score the maximum amount of points you can because you knew that you were the best general. Like I said to Boris, I said, look, Boris, I want you to win this game. Yeah. I genuinely do. Like I'm not, at the end, you know, he said to me, look, this has been one of the best games we've seen. Michael then went on to play him. Yeah. And Michael had a message from Zach, and he was the TO, and he said, I can't believe how sporting you were in that situation. Because that's what we want to put forward at VT is sportsmanship, fair play, clear conclusion, and that's exactly what we want. And, you know, like, I think that's a massive part as well, and it comes into that humility side of it when becoming a great player. You know, in that instance, the other person wasn't being very humble, wasn't having that humility to go, do you know what, I've been bested. Yeah. And I think that's really, really important. But I definitely think that in a situation like that, you know, we've had it before, even at the Factorum events that we've been very kindly player judging. Yeah. You had a situation where you played Ben Jones in the last round, and because of other things that happened, because you had to go over and do rulings, you actually ran out of time. We ran out at the end of turn 4. Yeah. So I actually went over and stood there as you two mathed out, and it actually came to the conclusion that it was a draw. Yep. And we even went through every scenario, and there were even moments where you were going, no, I think you have it, Ben, and Ben was going, no, I think you have it. And then there were situations going, no, I think I've got it now. And we went through all the different possibilities, and, and it all ended the same. Yeah. And I think that's a very key thing to do, especially considering that player who then won that game then went on to place quite highly. Yep. And potentially could have made that top lot to go on. It is I think that was a really bad situation and a bit of I think one of the only real sour eggs really of the event, I think. Yeah, I mean, and this is actually somebody that I'll just refuse to play. Yeah, I agree. Obviously, the individual will remain nameless, but I have in the past seen of him and have actually refused to play him.
Yeah, just because there's no point, in my eyes anyway, why am I going to spend 3 hours with somebody where we do not share the same values?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that in anything else.
Yeah.
If you and I had completely different values on something, why am I going to give my time?
Exactly.
Time is extremely precious.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. And if the last 2 years of anything has taught us is your time is incredibly precious to you. You want to be able to do things on your terms. And, I'd much rather walk around the venue, support my mates, go for some food, refuel, whatever it might be, rather than spend 3 hours with an individual that we do not share those same values.
Yeah, and obviously, and a testament to as well, another shout out to Michael as well, someone who had an insane run at the Leicester GT, only to fall short at the very last moment. And how he conducted himself, how he held himself is exactly how someone in that position should. And there were points in the games where I honestly wasn't, and this is very bad, I do apologise to my opponents on the second day, where I just sort of zoned out a bit because I was trying to concentrate on Michael. Yeah. Because I was so like, go on, Michael, you can do it. Yeah. Because in his fourth round, he had to play Ben.
He did.
And me and Ben had some good bonding times.
So this is VT Ben.
Yeah, so Ben Jones, who will also be doing the LVO masterclass with Steve, and they had to play each other in round 4. And I had got quite close with Ben. Obviously, we were sharing a room. We had some really nice chats during the weekend. Michael, a friend of mine for many years as well.
VT coach. And
it was mad. And
So I think at the end of day 1, we had myself, one of our other VT players, Michael Hooper, Ben Jones, and Michael Costello.
There was, I think, maybe one.
And then one of our other VT students who's on the academy. Yeah. And Rich as well on the VT Academy.
Yes.
So 2 of other students as well. So I think there were 7 of us, all undefeated. And I think out of the top 8, there was 4 VT team players.
Which is madness.
But do you know what I said to Boris? I said, although I'm up against, the best, one of the best players at the event on table 1. Yeah. I said to him, I'm so glad I'm playing you.
Yeah.
Because that means I'm not playing somewhere else where I could be, where I would have to just go, look, mate, I can't be bothered with this. So I was really happy just to even be playing that game, and just really grateful for that opportunity to play Boris, because we've never have, and we got on great. And he said to me at the end, he's like, that's one of the most enjoyable games I've ever played. So for me, that's a win.
And I love his shop, Badminton Cafe, and I would love to go visit.
Well, we are going. We're going soon, Jake. When?
It's not like I totally knew that and added a tangent.
Yeah.
How great am I?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, also Alistair Everett, thank you for becoming a lieutenant, becoming a member of the channel. Aaron and Michael and Jake are going to be coming up with loads of really good ways as to how we can provide more and more content if you are a member in the new year. So obviously we've just had our studio move. We only had internet put in not yesterday, the day before. So it's been a hell of a 2 weeks with the move. And leading up to that, we had Legends. I was on holiday for a little bit, but 2022 is going to be absolutely mental for VT. I want to do a reflection show, maybe a Christmas special where we reflect about the year.
Maybe this could be episode 2 of Off the Table.
Off the Table, where we reflect about everything that's happened this year, because it has been absolutely mental, and it's all because of you guys at home. Without your support, with the community, people coming up to me at Leicester, telling me how much the daily lives I did really helped them. The content that we put out, look, it's going to be one of those things that you guys have fueled VT, you really have, and if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even be here. So I cannot be more and more grateful. So here we go. What have we got here? Inquisitive X test stream today. Yes, this was a test show. If you'd liked it, let us know. Give us a like. And we're back Monday, 7 o'clock, the next stream.
The 13th of December. The games are back.
Monday, 7 o'clock. Not Tuesday, but Monday.
Yeah, we've changed it now because Steve has found a new love for volleyball.
Well, it wasn't a new love. It was
rekindled love.
A rekindled love for volleyball. Anyway, I got a volleyball story. I'll probably tell you about that one time.
That could be maybe on the next episode of Off the Table if people want more episodes. Do you want more episodes, people? If you do, put big thumbs up, yeses in the chat. On that note, $5 from Sean talking out a game Outer gamers killed me in a GT. I lost by 5 points to 3 booters because my opponent was taking 40 plus minutes a turn versus myself taking 10 to 15. Now, again, I think that comes under the topic of in a chess clock situation. I don't think if he clocks out, obviously, you know, and he's playing an army like that, it shouldn't be. I don't think there should be a talking out at that point. I think, again, the situations that we denoted in the talking out was a very much of it was obvious he was going to win.
Yeah.
You know, and the person said no.
Context is really important.
Context is important.
Yeah.
So I definitely think, you know, but I 100% agree with you there. Again, if someone's going to take so long to do their turns and you're going to have to penalise yourself for it. I had a situation a few editions ago where I played at one of the GTs and I probably played, I want to say, not even over-exaggerating, 15 minutes of a 3-hour game versus someone, and because of that, they ended up winning. Yeah. They only sped up when I was in the winning position. Yeah. And I ended up calling a TO over. They sided with the other person. Mm-hmm. And that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, but then something that I went on to learn and reflect on. But it's very, very important.
One more question I want to quickly talk about is Casper's here, and he said, question, how would you fix the bodyguard rule? Well, I can't really tell. I can't tell you, because obviously being a playtester, I can't really talk about rules in which I would change, because that might be a way of I'm telling you how it will or will not, so it's easier for me just not to talk about changing of rules. And how much would it nerf a competitive Sisters of Battle? So if there was a change to the bodyguard rule, then do I think it would change, for example, my list for the Order of the Martyred Lady? No, I don't. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not one of those people that will just keep a unit of bodyguards behind a wall and sit my Morvian Vow and Celestine on another objective just in front. That is completely it's non-interactive. Mm-hmm. It's boring.
It is boring.
And yeah, it's not the way I want to play. I rush my army up the table, and my bodyguard rule comes into play, for example. Okay, so maybe you have to kill every model near me, rather than just taking me down to 3 models left. That's where it kind of comes up, and it's not really that big, I don't think. One of the issues is obviously being able to shoot into combat. Rarely comes up. No, sometimes a bit of Overwatch rarely comes up, because you could just charge a Rhino in instead. So does it hurt competitive Sisters if there was a change? No. I think what it changes is that boring, non-interactive play, which I absolutely hate. Anyway, we've got Tim here with a couple of thumbs up, who's a member. Just G Minis, I'm glad you're here. We've got Just G Minis, fencing or volleyball. He's obviously referring to Alex Quibster and his fencing.
People want more off the table.
Yep.
And Liam has said, what drink do you have ready for beer and banter? Now, Steve, this is a good question, because obviously at 9:30, Liam will be going live for his beer and banter. Mm-hmm. What have you got ready for the beer and banter?
Protein shake?
Obviously.
No.
I have the humble water, definitely not vodka. Yeah. It is not that time of the week yet.
So I'm torn, because I'm actually I was quite tired earlier.
Oh.
But I've got to drop you off at the station.
Yeah.
And guess what's next to the station?
The gym.
The gym. So I might go in for a cheeky shoulder session.
A shoulder session?
Shoulder and abs. Could be tonight.
Shoulder.
So yeah, that could be me tonight, as I had no other plans. Either that or you and me just play Zombicide, mate, all evening.
Well,
we could keep the stream on.
We could keep. I definitely think for a members stream it would be funny just to do we play a whole campaign of something.
Zombicide.
I'd like to stream. Now I'm probably going to blow the chat's mind with this. Space Marine 2 just got announced.
Wow.
The video game, the most very popular video game, has just been announced for a sequel from GW, and it looks amazing. So I'd love to do my own little live stream game in that.
I need a PlayStation 5.
You do need a PlayStation 5. Liam needs a PlayStation 5. I need a PlayStation 5. I'm the man who sells PlayStation 5s. End quote.
But we need the podcast room first.
We do need the podcast room. Liam, I'll be watching beer and banter. Don't be silly. Steve's too busy focusing. Focus.
Well, I was talking to Liam this morning, so I didn't get my gym session in because I was talking to Liam.
Yeah.
So now
and you were recovering.
Yeah. So now I need to make up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, if you guys are not doing anything, then do go and check out Liam's stream, or the gym,
or
Zombicide.
Or something else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have them in stock at Argos Slim, probably all for about 5 minutes. But yeah, so obviously, how have you enjoyed yourself?
I've had a great time.
I've really enjoyed myself. This is something I've wanted to do for a while as well. Obviously, we spoke about it in the car. I had a lot of people come up to me at Leicester as well. And obviously, thank you so much for everybody that did.
Yeah.
And ask me regarding a talk show.
Yep.
And I think we've done a good job. And I'm super excited for the future.
I mean, I can't wait for our podcast room that we're going to get. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
We've raised some super chat revenue. That's going to be going straight towards our podcast room fund. Yeah.
We have 100. I saw 115 viewers we peaked at.
Boom.
71 likes for the new first stream in the studio. We've also a bit of a different content as well to show you the new era of Vanguard Tactics in the new studio, and obviously you're going to expect lots to come. Remember, this is going to be a bi-weekly show, obviously, so obviously make sure you check out Vanguard Tactics on Instagram for all updates regarding potential shows and anything like that.
Yep.
Get yourself on the boot camp. You can look at it.
The 7-day challenge. Yep.
The link tree in the description, and obviously you also have there that. Also, obviously, in the description as well is you got confused because you put the wrong one.
I know. Sorry.
So obviously you got the link for that one there. Also in the description as well is for that Just Giving page for Dan. Obviously, if you can give anything to that, speaking from somebody who has been through something similar and is going through something in a way like that as well, I'd like to give you, Dan, all the well wishes and all the support I can.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Right.
I think that's it.
Absolutely.
That's a wrap.
That is a wrap. Jake, thank you very much. Guys in the chat, we love you so much. We really do. Yeah, love it. So we'll be back Monday, and I'm going to be bringing the Blood Angels. The Blood Angels are coming back on stream.
Versus?
I don't know yet. It's either you or Michael.
Well, I don't mind playing.
You don't mind playing?
I think for the first one in the studio, we could have the old dynamic duo.
Yeah?
Yeah?
You want it?
I want it.
Yeah? What are you going to run?
Maybe not the sisters, just because a lot of the things are broken on them from Legends.
We could do that. We could do a little Leicester round robin. So
Yeah.
I could play you could play Michael plays me.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is that obviously both your lists wanted to get shown off, so I was thinking you two could just have me as a punching bag and showing off what the new Army of Renown and the Blood Angels can do. But obviously you've got to tune in on Monday, the 13th of December. Make sure you're here, 7 p.m. The time hasn't changed, it's just the day that's changed.
Monday, 7 o'clock. See you then. Bye-bye. Stop shooting people, Jake.
It's not as seamless.
Stop shooting people. Stop it.